What's up, brothers and sisters? It's your brother G World 7_D. And I got this book called The Complete Gods and Goddesses of Ancient Egypt. And notice you see in the front cover, you see the headband and the feather on the head. You know. Alright, but I'm going to turn the page. I'll say this is 220, one of these pages here. Because the other time I talked about how the Americas connected to Egypt, and I want to show you that real quick, okay? I want you to pick up on certain things, because brothers and sisters, you're going to have to pick up on so many things. Now, what I mentioned before, I'm going to show you this time. Right, you can see it. Remember those images of the serpent I showed you before that was on the pharaohs, and all those serpent mounds of the Americas? And notice that this is like an orb or an egg, or let's say a basket. Right? But it's split in half. That represents the two lands. This represents the Americas, particularly South America. This represents Africa. All right. So this is the rulership of two lands. When you just see them, this is the old lands with the Wajet, the serpent on there. And you have all those serpent mounds here in America, man. And I showed you the picture before of the book, the serpent mounds. Here, the Ohio book about the Ohio architecture with the serpent mounds. You have serpent mounds all through the Americas, and the serpent kings ruled throughout South America. And that's the symbol of the Wajet symbol. I showed you an image of Pharaoh Tutankhamun with the Wajet on, with the serpent. But there's some that shows him with both of them. They show him with the serpent and the eagle. Now, why they have some of them with just this, and then some of them with both of them. All right, and read this right here. Like I can get into focus. Hold up, I can get into focus. I might just go and read it. It sometimes take me a while to get into focus. Classic hieroglyphic form of the goddess Wajet as a serpent on a basket, along with the vulture of the goddess Nekbet, representing the two ladies' name of the king, will symbolize the tutelary position of these goddesses over Upper and Lower Egypt. This is the 12th dynasty now. This, like I said, represents the two lands. South America, Africa. And the blacks came from South America. They brought the culture from South America over to Africa. Now, this is an image of Anubis doing the funerary proceedings to the deceased pharaoh. All right. Now, I want you to look at Anubis. Look at him good. And here's right here. If I can get a clear picture of the same, right here was this. Anubis attends the mummy of the deceased. And here's another picture of Anubis. All right. Anubis in his typical hybrid form. All right. With a human body than the head of this dog. All right. I'm gonna go even further over, because you know you white scholars, well, that's the jackal. All right. Well, I'm gonna go even further, and I want to talk about something too. I want you to pick up on certain things. You should have picked up on certain things I was just showing you right there. Is the fact is that right there connected the Americas to Africa. I showed you the serpent mounds before. Showed you serpent mounds plenty of time. Now I'm going to show you a quick image of this one of these Egyptian gods. I'm going to show you a quick image, excuse me, of Anubis. I'm going to turn to where Anubis is at now. Here's Anubis. And you see the Anubis in this position like you see the Sphinx, man. All right, and this is this parallels to that so-called Mexican hairless dog, the Jola dog, which you can trace its origins to Asia. All right, so that shows you connection to Asia, Egypt, and Africa. Remember, you see this dog, which is native to the Americas. Now here we go right here about Anubis. If I can get a clear image of it. Now read it. Before the rise of Osiris, Before the rise of Osiris, before the rise of Osiris, Anubis was the most important Egyptian funerary god. Originally, he appears to have been primarily concerned with the burial and afterlife of the king. Though eventually this role was extended to incorporate all the dead, one Egyptian text derives the name of Anubis from a verb meaning petrified, and his name was also linked to a word for a king's son, perhaps in relation to Osiris. But these are probably later contrived etymologies, and the original meaning of the name is unsure. The god associated with the dead probably originated in the habit of a desert canine, scavenging in the shallow graves of early cemeteries, and, as was common in Egyptian protective magic, the form of the threat was then utilized in order to provide protection for the dead. Man, look at this. This shows you the Jolat dog, the Mexican hairless dog, Anubis, here in Egypt, and doing funerary proceedings like a priest or a high spiritual or a high person of medicine, a person of high stature, a doctor or something, performing medical procedures over the deceased. All right, but going back to that, remember I said that's in Americas. It's here in Africa, and then you can trace it to Asia. But then I go back to the image of the Wajet and the vulture, and you see them on two different forms of the egg or the orb or the basket. One is on one side, it represents one rulership of the world, one kingdom, one part of the kingdom. This is the other side of the kingdom. This represents the two lands. The serpent was where you deal with the serpent kings in America, which represent Upper Egypt here in America, South America, and then you have Egypt in the Africa. All right, these represent the two lands right here, and then you see the serpent mounds over here. You had a bunch of serpent mounds in America. So, as I said before, is that the fact is that our ancestors weren't just landlocked to one location; they were globally. So when you hear idiots like Sarah Sudenseti, Umar Johnson, the From Nothing clown, that Home Team History, them dudes, Angel Miss Jordan, these clowns don't know what the hell they talking about, man. Our brothers and sisters traveled the world, and they took that science and technology and that great information of studying stars, observatories they built all over the damn planet. They weren't in just no West Africa you was taken as a slave. Most of our people were already here, and then, like I said, a large number of black European, black Moorish European who came over here. All right, as well as you had some black so-called Mongoloid. All right, but mostly black European, black people already here, and like I said, sprinkle black Mongoloid, and you have some black African, but they were absorbed. All right, so but most of our people are already here. We have to understand that. So you keep saying this stuff, you descendant of slaves from Africa. That's a damn lie. You descendant of the Aboriginal blacks who were reclassified as, quote, Africans or something else besides the nation that they were in. We are indigenous to this land. You have to, you really gonna have to understand this, man. They have really buried our history, and they basically chopped it up in sections, man. So you got to I've gotten different books to basically piece everything together. But this information is in your face. All right, this book, this right here, The Complete Gods and Goddess of Ancient Egypt. This one did cost me a pretty penny at the time. I think this one, I don't know. You may get it cheaper now, but at the time it cost me around 50-some bucks, I think. But still, this still offers some good information because you can see, like I said, you have the serpent mounds here all through America. This is the book I have, Ohio Archaeology, and I'm just talking about the ones in Ohio, but you have serpent mounds throughout this country. I showed you mounds throughout this country, and then here you see the image of the serpent, and I showed you images of the pharaohs during Tutankhamun and Queen Nefertiti you see image of them wearing the serpent, the Wajet. And here it is. And that represents, like I said, the Americas, particularly South America. There's all these serpent mounds. These mounds are all here throughout the America, particularly they were really in North America, all them damn mounds. But a lot of the serpent rules was in South America, which had a bunch of mounds, the serpent mounds in North America. And they built, not only they were in South America, but they were in North America. So they built not only their great civilization structures in South America, and they filtered into North America. All right. So what it is that so-called black people are descendants of these black people who, once those empires start to fall down, a lot of those brothers who sisters who weren't able to escape end up being captured and being slaves and reclassified. Some were able to maintain their freedom. Others, like I said, fled, and then many were enslaved. All right. These are your so-called African slaves, where the Aboriginal blacks are already here. You have to understand that. You can't keep listening to these goofy Pan-Africans, man, because they have you a foreign in your own land. They have you worrying about a land thousands of miles away when you home here, when your home is here. And I want to say this, man. It's not being, this needs to be said to all these non-American blacks who want to tell us who we are. I advise you to stay out of our business. I really mean this. And this doesn't apply to all, but a lot of you who are doing that, telling us who we are, and a lot of us really starting to come to the knowledge, which I've been through this stuff, but a lot of us are just starting to really willing to listen. I mean, just back off, please. Because you're not helping. You're just like those white folks who had distorted history for so long. Let us be. Let our people grow to be proud of who we are and our indigenous aboriginal heritage here in America. Stop that mess telling that, oh, we all just African. That is inaccurate information. Not all black people are African. Let's get this. And I'm not saying that, quote, we're not black. Because white man had made black, the word black negative. I showed you images before showing people the deity as jet black, because that represents the highest honor. That represents the black soil, the black fertile soil, the rich black fertile soil represent the rich black people who come from the fertile soil. All right. So just like this image you see of Osiris in green, and that's vegetation. So it just, come on, man, come on. All that stuff is, a lot of that stuff. What the white man has done, he's changed so much and distorted so much and lied so much that he's twisted the true history. So I'm just telling you, brothers and sisters, to learn your true history. Learn everything about your true history. Take pride in true history. You know, take pride in who you are. Love who you are. Remember, this is the image of Osiris. Didn't that look like the image of the damn Pope who was all white on? Doesn't that look like the image of the damn Pope, man? All right. All right, brothers and sisters, man. There's so much I want to say that I'm going to hold back on certain things, man. Because I'm trying my best to hold back on some of this stuff. But you got a lot of these ignorant Negroes online, man. They say a lot of stupid stuff. And they just making you a slave in Africa. And it's really tiring. It's really sad. It's really stupid. But that's how these niggas get down, man. Brothers and sisters, wake up. I love you. Wake the hell up. Learn your history. Learn your true history. Learn your true history. That your ancestors traveled the damn planet. They traveled the damn globe. They created maps, and they read the stars, and they used the rays of the sun. Peace and love.